All right, we are back with another edition of the Astro Weather. I am your Astro Weatherman, Robert Phoenix. We had a bit of a glitch. We had a bit of a glitch in the program to start the program today, but we're here and we are not glitching out. So let me do what I do here at the beginning, which is a little bit of a roll call and see who's in the house. Always one of my favorite parts of the day. We got the California Contrarian, Double K, in the house. Kabuki Theater's here. What's up, Bo? Julie Sunshine. I am feeling energized for literally months of living like a happy hermit. It's because Mars is in Leo. My birthday is coming up, and I used to celebrate my birthday the whole month of August as a teen. Well, it's not quite in Leo yet. It's getting close, and I think maybe you're feeling it. Healing Heart Rosie is here. Mars in Virgo. Mercury's in Leo, retrograde. Oh, go get it. Go get that thing. Get it, Peachy. Peachy's on the hunt. Healing Heart Rosie, hello. Feels a little better. Good. Liz Ayers, love the thumbnail. That Leo is on a magical mystery tour. He is. He's rocking the cosmos. Barbara Boots is here. Let's see. Washing, grooming, and key. Throughout project. Finished the yard yesterday. Did take a long nap in between. Robert's right. Naps are good. Yes, you can pull off the power nap. It is a good thing. Night Slight's here. What's up, Night Slight? Sleep all day, awake all night. Tired in between. Sleep schedules are really, really weird. Jackie Delario. What's up, Jackie? Elspeth Herod. Hello, Elspeth. Misbehaving too. Steven, the Piscatarian. He's here. Hello, Steven. Let's see. Woke up to humidity, 80 degrees swamp ass and boob sweat. Yow, there you go. That's getting gritty. Why would a Jay Giles band song pop into my head? Crazy, right? It depends on the song. I'm a big Jay Giles fan. I think they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hello, Susan. Good to see you. Janine is here. Diane Evans is here. Hammer time. Let's see. Zerlith, Eternal. What's up, Steve? The new next. Checking in with us. Ryan is here. Hey, Ryan. Hey, we got a happy birthday for Orlando. Orlando. Signing tomorrow is my birthday. Oh, okay. All right. We get you an early version of it, Orlando. Orlando was telling me yesterday how much she loves Dawn Ripples. One of her favorite comics of all time. There's Steve, floor to the door. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Happiest birthday. Of course, we all love Orlando. And we wish her many, many more years and screams of coffee to come. Let's see. Tabisu. Hi, Tabisu. In 30 minutes is actual new moon in Leo. Yes, we're still balsamic. I can feel it. I'm going to put this up there. Thank you, Ryan. If you feel so moved, you can purchase me a cup of coffee, which is the equivalent of a donation to the show. I appreciate that. The lovely and talented one in the house, saving Austin one tooth at a time. Miss Nikki's here. Hi, Miss Nikki. Yes, please hit like, subscribe. If you like it and want to subscribe to it, do it. Howdy us. We are close to midnight down under. Uh, Internet down and using portable connection. Well, that's dedication. I appreciate that, Howdy Doss. Thank you so much for hanging in there and sharing the space with us. Lisa Ann White, the law. The law. Tom's here. Tom Jordan's in the house. Let's see who else we have. 15 minutes, man. I got to reset that link. Got to reset that link in between shows. We'll work retrograde happened along the way. Hi, Stephanie Hunter. Good to see you. What else do we have here? Do we have any stragglers? Carol Amore. Hi, Carol. Sweet Woodruff's checking in from Plano. Amy Gill. Yes, if you're looking for a reading, I am your guy. Thank you again, Ryan. And since Tom put it there, I'll just remind you to like and subscribe. But hey, it's easy to hit the like even before the show starts because you know you're going to like it. You know you're going to like it. Hanging Laundry. What's up, Hanging? Christine Mose. She is checking in from SoCal. Brandy Herrera. Neil Smith. My new nickname for Neil Smith is the Big Cheese. That's my new nickname for Neil, the Big Cheese. Beth Berry's here. Scrubbies is here. Hi, Tamara. Green Eyed Crow. We got a crowd here. We're just getting warmed up. Let's see who else. Cosmic Detective. What's up, CD? Desley Logum. I spent my morning with my friend. Palliative Care. Oh boy, that's so grateful for the beautiful exchange of energy we both had. Really, oh, well, that's good to know. It's boy, it's the end of the tunnel and the beginning of the tunnel. Great transition. It's all in our future. It's all there. Let's see. Good strong hug for Ed. There you go. It's a bear hug. A lion hug. Sherilyn Gray are heading out for a walk by the lake. Taking them out, right? I'm glad I get to go by the lake. Thanks, Sherilyn. Catherine Rosa, New Moon. Yes, yes, we are here. Beach Barn. Anyone having difficulty putting down hobbies for work with this energy? Well, gosh, I hope so. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Devin Dewar. Hi, Devin. D2. Sharon Lewis. Calm is contagious. Oh, I like that. We got a moon sprout sighting. Let's see. Who else? Who else? Who else? Maria de Ange. Hello, Maria. Good to see you. Checking in from Europa. Europa. Let's see. Anybody else? Jared Mack. Hi, Jared. Morning right back. Greetings right back to you. I think we're all caught up here. We've got Kelly B and Liddy Lou checking in from McKinney. And rainbows and butterflies. Did I miss anybody? Centerfold popped in my head this morning. I missed Diana. Hi, Diana. I think centerfold might be something a little bit different for you than maybe other people see. I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm speculating on what your version of the centerfold would be. It's just pure speculation on my part. No typecasting, no stereotyping involved at all. Jay Giles, underrated, man. A band that survived 3 decades, 60s, 70s, and the 80s. Not all the way through the 80s, but they had some hits in the 80s. And I think they are rock and roll Hall of Fame worthy. That's just my take. Christine Foos, been absent a bit. Mundane life, a bit chaotic. So far, the summer in Phoenix has been better than usual. Definitely better than last year. We have had a cooling, for sure. And the cooling has certainly affected this part of the world, as most people. I was supposed to go to the. I was going. I was so tired. Um, they had the Chamber of Commerce meeting, not Chamber of Commerce, City Council meeting here in Kerrville, and I didn't go obviously because I fell asleep. But they had it on TV, and I may play a little bit of it over on 15 today. Um, they're just flat out telling people that they're going to raise property taxes in order to pay for everything that's happened. I mean, I think it's kind of a weird place, right? Because on the one hand, you want to be a good citizen and you want to help restore the balance of the place that you're living in, particularly if you are invested in the value of your property going up. You would say, okay, well, this is an investment. However, There is a strange cognitive dissonance here in Kerrville, in that there are elements inside the local political scene that are quite conservative, conservative in terms of fiscal spending, but the city government tends to lean more liberal. So it's not a great version of check and balance. And part of the reason why they got to this place is because nobody could agree upon spending $1 million to put an early warning system over there in Hunt, where they're the most vulnerable to the rising tides. Once every 30 years it happens, but when it happens, it's kind of disastrous, right? Now, that's irrespective of the damage caused by the flood itself. You can't stop that. That's going to happen. But in terms of loss of life, which is really I think what we're talking about here, with an early warning system, you cut it down. So I don't know, maybe by 70%. And there are people today that have lost loved ones that would take that 70%, right? So this has been going on for a long time here, and it's because nobody trusts each other. And the last 4 years of the Biden administration, the social contract was broken, absolutely broken. So how can we trust if we can't trust the federal government? Then how can we trust any iteration thereof? We can't. And now you have the city government here basically pointing their finger at people and saying, we're going to raise property taxes to pay for all this. And again, I don't necessarily have an issue with it per se, but you better delineate what the fuck you're spending it on. Because if you're not, then there's going to be there's going to be some bills to pay, and they're not going to be the ones that are going to be rubber stamped by the city comptroller, right? Anyway, let's get into the weather. It's a touchy subject, but they did not come off well. The Kerrville City Council did not come off well the other night. I'll play some of that over on 15. Okay, let me do our little magic here, make it a little bit bigger for you guys. We'll zoom in. There we go. Well, the new moon is not quite new yet. Not quite new yet, but it will be. Today we will celebrate. Today we will celebrate the new moon. We will celebrate the new moon in Leo. We're in that opposition with Sun Pluto, and this Mercury retrograde is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We're still dealing a little bit here with a bit of a singleton. We've got some minor aspects. So it's going to stand out. Like Mercury retrograde is going to stand out, and that's what 15 Minutes of Flame is going to be about today. It's about this looking backwards that the Trump administration is doing now. And are they working with an astrologer? Because if they are, they're hitting all the right notes. So they're going back and they're looking at Obama and they're looking at the Russia collusion. Uh, they're looking at Hillary Clinton. There's been all these videos popping up on X where I believe it's on 9/11, 2016. And that's where she goes for the 9/11 memorial, gets into for all intents and purposes, like a mobile, it's like a mobile lab or, mobile surgical unit. It's a limo, but it's equipped like a fucking hospital. and she had that rather large black fellow who followed her everywhere and apparently had like an EpiPen or something like that. Like it was all very strange and very cloak and dagger, and she's making all these weird faces. Like that was a part of the election that was really, really bizarre. Laughing uncontrollably, and people say, "Well, she's got Kuru," and and then there's that moment. Now, the weird thing about that moment, this is a really strange part. I was the night before. I was on with Randy Moggins and Emily Moyer, and we were talking about the election. And it was such a funny night because I forgot I was supposed to be on with them. And I was riding my bicycle around East Austin at night. I would do this every now and then. I put my bike in the back of my truck. I drive my truck down to Lady Bird Lake. I pull my bike out and I'd start riding around downtown Austin, East Austin. Just at night, it was like I've always liked riding bikes at night, especially like city environments and stuff. So I got a text or something from Emily. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm supposed to be on their show. So I'm out on my bike right now. I said, well, can I just call in because they were doing video? And they said, yeah, yeah, you can call in. So I remember being at this like brewery in East Austin, and they specialize in bitter beer. And I was on this call with them, and I think I might have even left because they were closing. I'm riding my bike, and I'm still on the show with them. And I said, doesn't it feel like Hillary could die? Like it just feels like she could die. And we're laughing about it because like it had been really strange what was going on with her physically. And then sure enough, like 9/11, the next day, she collapses as she goes into that like mobile medical unit. And then when you see her again, she comes out of Chelsea's apartment, no Secret Service, doesn't even quite look the same. And we're all sitting around going, what the fuck? Like, what are we witnessing here? That's all coming up with this Mercury retrograde. So if it's amazing to watch all this get replayed again. And I think some of it is interesting and worth, I don't know, queuing up and putting in the projector. I hope at some point, if they're playing the Mercury retrograde game, they stop at COVID and the summer of Floyd along the way because that needs its own separate. They need their own separate chapters. Interesting time, right? This Mercury retro Sun opposing Pluto, and it does feel like there is this uh, illumination process going on. There's nothing that'll disinfect better than some solar rays, right? So we have the sun opposing Pluto and literally illuminating the darkness. I like the fact that we're going into Friday with the new moon in Leo, Friday, Saturday. Are we still allowed to have fun? Can people have fun without feeling guilty? I went through that phase for a while. I think it might have been around, I don't know, 2017, 2018, 2019. I'm like, how can people have fun now? It just doesn't feel like the environment supports fun and vacationing. And, I don't know. That's just where my head was at. And, maybe the antidote for, all of our ills is to experience life and enjoy life a little bit. So we have a new moon in Leo this weekend. I heartily recommend. It's really starting today, going into tomorrow, and then Saturday. But Sunday comes around, Monday comes around. We're ready for the moon in Virgo, getting ready to go back. Enjoy yourself this weekend. Enjoy yourself. Live life with gusto. As the French say, joie de vivre. Take a bite. Take a bite out of the apple of life. Just make sure it's a non-GMO apple, a non-GMO, non-mRNA apple. You'll be just fine if you do that. That's my suggestion. And in spite of everything, which seems pretty dark, I have to say, in spite of everything, I would say challenge yourself. Dare, dare I say dare to affirm your life and affirm your existence, affirm your humanity, affirm your divinity, affirm it all. This is a great weekend for that. Even when the moon comes in and opposes Pluto, which has its own, that's going to be interesting. That new moon opposing Pluto, that's going to be an interesting opposition for sure. Um, when I see that, that does feel a lot like Hillary, because Hillary's a Scorpio, and Pluto, of course, is the ruling planet, and the moon tends to be a bit matriarchal. So I think Hillary's going to be part of the conversation here over the next, at least the next 24 hours. We'll see beyond that. By the way, have we had a Cape Middleton sighting in a while? I think they rolled out some double or something just to placate the masses. But clearly, that's another person, MIA. MIA. Yeah. Anyway, in spite of all the intensity and the encroachment of darkness, the egregore of AI, Pluto and Aquarius, dare to have a life affirming stance over the next 48 hours. Hey, trust me on this. It'll be good. We're going to have the moon coming in here real shortly and starting to trine Neptune. By degree, it kind of is already. By element, not quite. Moon trine Saturn. I really like the uh, sort of the emotional atmosphere and the setup. Moon Neptune trines are, they're kind of goofy and cosmic and rose-colored glasses. And that's fine, right? Beautiful. And then you have the Moon Saturn trine, which is kind of the solid reality behind it. Well, yeah, I'm happy, or I'm enjoying this moment. Do you want me to prove my work? I can do that if you want. There's it's an interesting combination of stability with the Moon Saturn trine, and also I want to use the word affability, but that would be more descriptive of Jupiter. Um, Stability with a sense of emotional color. I would also expect the next 48 hours to be kind of dramatic, right? We're moving into like a dramatic cycle with the new moon in Leo, right? But with the Neptune trine and the Saturn trine, I think it's on your side. Have fun, play, laugh. Yeah, will we still have that Sun, Pluto, Moon, Pluto opposition? Sure, absolutely. We're going to shine a light in the darkness. Yes. Are we going to like what we see? Not always, no. But who's to say you still can't enjoy yourself and affirm your existence? I mean, that's really the message here. And I feel like the Sun Neptune trine, the Moon Neptune trine, it's very agape, it's very namaste, right? It's it's kind of the universal bond that we all share together with that Neptune trine, and the sun celebrates it. Like we're all part of the same family. We're all part of the same solar family in a lot of ways. So that'll be interesting. I mean, this is also I feel like the next 48 hours you'll find people that will be oddly related to you, and they may literally be related to you, and you won't see it coming. Oh my God, my second cousin or third cousin or whatever. But I feel like that's in the air, but also a sense of like kinship with other people that you don't know, which I think is good. I think it's a good thing. Jupiter is kind of moving on from Saturn just a bit. Jupiter's just about to break free from that pernicious Jupiter Saturn square that we've been dealing with for such a long time. And it's interesting because Trump keeps pounding his chest and telling the rest of the world that he's going to fire Jerome Powell, although I don't think he really can, because the Federal Reserve does not answer to the president. The Federal Reserve is not federal. It's its own entity. The Board of Governors can fire Jerome Powell, but not Donald Trump. He can't fire everybody. But I do think that potentially with the moon breaking free of the gravitational hold of Saturn, that we might get a bit of a break in the housing market. And we might see a slight dip in the interest rates. And that will dislodge a lot of compacted material that's on the market. Let me tell you, the real estate market's compacted. And even a 0.5% would move the needle, move more than the needle, move some inventory. We got our friend Mars down here finally crossing over that south node. Can we say that the energy is coming back? I'll say it. I'll get on the record. The energy's coming back. We've crossed the dip of the Rubicon right here. We're still a little feisty at Mars Venus square. A little feisty about that. We had some spicy conversations yesterday over on Twitter, and a lot of it was around Ozzy Osbourne. I put out a tweet, and I'm like, I may lose some people over this, but you got the first basic and four Sabbath records, which are definitive heavy metal. And after that, I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in Ozzy. I'm not interested in the music that much. Crazy Train's okay. But it's just, it doesn't really grab me. It's not like I moved on. By the time I was like, I bought Paranoid when I was 14. And, 2 years later, I'm listening to Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols. And like, I'm in a different world, different universe. So when he passed, it didn't really, it's like, I was talking about the mortality of rock stars, like just before he passed away. And you could just see it was imminent, right? You could just see it was imminent. It was coming. But it was funny yesterday. There were people that were kind of, I wouldn't say they were arguing with me on Twitter, but they were definitely borderline trying to convince me that like Ozzy was a great guy. He wasn't a Satanist. He was a family man. If you look at his lyrics, they're very Christian. I mean, I had this one guy just he's like a wall of text. I don't know if he follows me or not. I'm not gonna diss him, but I'm like, look, I never said he was a Satanist. I never like went after Ozzy Osbourne's, you know, moral character or anything like that. Like wasn't part of my tweet. But there were all these people trying to convince me that he was a good guy. His music was really good. And I'm like, I don't need to be convinced. I mean, if you liked him, that's great. Wasn't my thing. Now, to be honest, if I was gonna lean in on an Ozzy-like character, well, I'd be much more of an Alice Cooper guy than an Ozzy Osbourne guy. And it's because I like Alice's music better. I like his music better. That's just me. Anyway, but that the Venus Mars square it was a little chippy, a little feisty at times, and we still got it going on. It's okay. We can agree to disagree as long as we maintain some kind of decorum about it. It's okay. Mars is starting to move into trine with Uranus. That's interesting. Take a new approach to your work. I am thinking about it. I'm definitely thinking about a new approach to my work. I'm definitely thinking about it. That's TBD. Totally TBD. Yeah, we got the Venus square to Neptune and Saturn still, but that's starting to, let's see. Well, it's just starting to come in, right? As Venus heads towards Cancer, that square is going to become harder, right? It's an interesting square. We'll talk more about that as it approaches. That's a very interesting square. All right. I think we're good with the weather. I think we mined this thing. We turned this mother out, as George once said. Okay. The Motor Booty Affair. That was a Parliament record. All right, let's do our True Hemp Science. And let's go to our True Hemp Science star of the day. None other than Barry Lamar Bonds. Barry Bonds has one of the weirdest charts that somebody who's a total success rose to the top of his game. He's got one of the weirdest charts, and of course, a history as a steroid user. Anyway, the True Hemp Science star of the day is brought to you by guess who? True Hemp Science, your one-stop shop for all things CBD, organically sourced, and from soup to nuts, it is overseen by our guy Chris, who is really truly an alchemist and provides you with some of the best CBD products you can find. I still don't have any word on SP3. They're going to have a special session. Of course, the big menu item on the special session will be Kerrville, flood, disaster, et cetera, et cetera. But SP3 will be a part of it. We'll find out more about it, and hopefully it doesn't get buried like other things associated with this flood. But all you got to do is spend $100 more, type in 15MINS, and you will get the goodie bag with your order. And you will like the goodie bag. You'll probably get some gummies, and gummies are almost worth the price of admission. $150 more, get you free shipping. Always a 30-day money back guarantee. TrueHempScience.com. All right. Where do I start with Barry Lamar Bonds? How about his rising sign? He's a Sag rising. He has Ceres on his ascendant retrograde. South node there looks like it's at 1 Capricorn retrograde. So what is Sagittarius on the ascendant when it wants to expand? Right. And Barry, when he was young, that's young Barry right there. He was a hell of a player. He was really, really good. He's the son of Bobby Bonds, who was an excellent baseball player. Unfortunately, Bobby suffered from alcoholism, and I think Barry kind of had a bit of a rough. I don't know if Bobby beat him or anything. Like, but Barry was pretty spoiled. He went to Sarah High School in the Bay Area. Was a big star at Sarah High School in baseball. Went to Arizona State. When he showed up at Arizona State, I forget what kind of car he showed up in. It was like a Trans Am or a Corvette or something. Like all these other guys are driving, fucking Toyota Tercels, and Barry Bonds rolls up in a, you know, with some wheels, right? And it's because his father could afford it. And he brought a certain arrogance with him to college, to the Pirates, and ultimately to the Giants. And he's born on a full moon. You see that right here. He's got a son in the eighth house. And with the opposition of the moon, I mean, it's not really doing much of anything. So it it feels to me like Barry Bonds is just isolated. Like when you go back and look at his career across two teams, hit more home runs than anybody else in the history of baseball. More home runs in a season, more home runs lifetime. I mean, the guy smashes every single home run fucking record. But he doesn't have any good relationships with anybody on any of his teams. He's got Neptune in the 11th house, which represents teams, right? Sports. And he's got Neptune over there. And I'll never forget the story about when he first came to the Giants. He walks into the locker room and he points at all the pitchers, almost all the pitchers. And without even saying anything, he looks at me and says, I got you, I got you, I got you, I got, meaning he hit home runs off of these pitchers who are now his teammates. That is not the Andrew Carnegie or the what you call it, the Norman Vincent Peale method of how to win friends and influence people. I mean, he starts to alienate people right from the jump. But Barry Bonds is productive. He starts to do steroids because all these other guys are doing steroids. Mark McGwire is doing steroids. Sammy Sosa is doing steroids. Jose Canseco, they're all doing steroids. And Barry is in ground zero for Steroidville. It's called Balco. And it was run by this guy who used to be in Tower of Power. He was a horn player from Tower of Power. He got into sports performance and ultimately steroids. Let's talk about Jupiter, fifth house, which is, pastimes, athletics, right? And he's got Jupiter here. What does he do? He steroids up. And his Jupiter is in conjunction with Algol. What is Algol? It is the neck, right? It's the neck. And he's got a thick motherfucking neck. That is Jupiter ultimately conjuncting Algol. And this is the pharmaceutical application. Everything about him changes. It's almost like he's a different person. He's not very happy. Barry Bonds was never happy. Never. And the other thing about Barry, which I think maybe Dusty Baker might have been his friend or Darren Lewis or something like that, but he has this Venus Mars conjunction in Gemini. And sometimes I would listen to him talk. Like if you go back and you listen to Barry Bonds do interviews, he almost seems gay, right? Like, and I feel like it's this Venus Mars conjunction in Gemini. So he's kind of, like, look, he's got this, kind of sweet, kind, more softer, feminine face here, over here. It's not the same. But it's like I always said, is Barry Bonds gay? I mean, I would have these conversations in my head every now and then. Because I lived in the Bay Area, he was a big deal. I was never a big Barry Bonds fan. He wasn't that interesting just because he could hit the ball out of the park. He wasn't that interesting to me. But I would ask myself that question. His true note is in Leo, so he's supposed to, right, stand out. And, you I'm sorry, true note is in Cancer. My bad. True note is in Cancer. God, that's such a mixed message, isn't it? Like he's supposed to be caring, nurturing, seventh house, like have a monogamous relation, whatever, right? But then on the other side, he's got that Leo sun, and nobody really sees him. Like even with all these home runs, like nobody really saw Barry Bonds, at least according to him. Moon Neptune square, very insecure in a lot of ways. He made all this money. Saturn down here, this is not quite the fourth house, but he's got Saturn in Pisces. Saturn being the father, of course, and his father, Bobby, had an issue with the old drink there. Hell of a player. Everybody liked Bobby Bonds, but nobody knew what really was, haunting the guy. And you would think that with a Saturn Venus trine, he would have long lasting friendships. I'll tell you what he did have with this Saturn Venus trine is that his personal trainer, his name is Brian something, I forget his last name, but they kept bringing him in front of this grand jury and he wouldn't testify. He would not testify against Barry Bonds. And then they would cart him off to jail. And they'd bring him out every now and then say, "Are you ready to talk?" And the same thing would happen over and over. So he fell on the sword for Barry Bonds and steroids because he was his trainer. And Barry comes up with this kind of weak excuse that he was given these two creams. One was clear and the other was milky or whatever, right? And he didn't know what they were. He was just like, "Hey, take these, Barry. Take these, and it'll help you." Okay, what's in it? Ah, don't worry about what's in it. Is it legal? Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Saturn here is more like the father is the brother, right? So like Bobby Bonds was like Barry Bonds' older brother father. That's the role Saturn is playing. He's got kind of a fucked up chart. I ain't gonna lie. Pluto Uranus conjunction, ninth house, and I do think that that does get into chemistry and the whole steroid cocktail concoction. And you would think that with Libra rising, or I'm sorry, Libra in the midheaven, that he'd be nicer to people, but that's not really the case. He's not. Barry Bonds is a dick. He was a universal dick to everybody. At least he was consistent in that area of his life. He could hit home runs, and he was a dick. Um, what's really interesting, and can we make a case for this with the chart? I think we could. When Barry Bonds hit the record home run, broke Hank Aaron's record. Um, the guy who was making the call on the radio at KMBR, what's his name? David something, David Glass. I forget, it's David something. Anyway, he's making the call and the audio goes out. The freaking audio goes out. The home run, the breaks Hank Aaron's home run record. He talks about it, pitch comes in, he describes it, and then the audio drops out. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You have to be kidding me. This record breaking moment, it was almost like somebody just hit the mute button. It's like, we're not going to record this because this is disingenuous. And he's breaking Hank Aaron's record because I swear to God, it happens. Is it the Mercury Saturn opposition? That could be. In that moment of his, The denouement of his career, there's no audio record of it. It's like the Zapruder film or something like that. And he's got this Mercury Jupiter square. He was always very, very boastful. Very, very boastful about his ability to play baseball. And to this day, he's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he ever will be. And it's not because he used steroids, although I'm sure that factors into it, because nobody liked him. Nobody liked him. Now, he does have this mystic rectangle. You see that? And I think that mystic rectangle allowed him, because there were guys that, like Mark McGuire, Libra Mark, he had to come out and say that he was juicing. Like a lot of these guys had to come out and say it. It was a witch hunt. I hated it. That all happened under Obama, by the way. It's like, let's go after this American institution, baseball. Let's bring up steroids. Let's hire George Mitchell. Oh, why stop there? Let's go after Lance Armstrong. He's American. He's an icon. Let's go after him. I always felt, and I was very conscious of that during that time, that it was a willful deconstruction of American sports. And Lance Armstrong, who is as much of a dick as Barry Bonds, but nonetheless, right, he was the poster child for American excellence in cycling. And then baseball is the American sport. And so who's behind all that? Why are they doing that? Who's putting together these grand juries? It was Obama's attorney general. Yeah, that guy. But Barry skates, right? It's the mystic rectangle. That's the nature of the mystic rectangle. You're like a cat, you land on your feet. So all of these other guys are having their mea culpas and whatever. Barry's guy doesn't rat on him. They keep bringing him back, bringing him back, bringing him back, and he never says a damn thing. He was in Santa Rita, which is this prison. So it's like it's not a state pen like San Quentin, but it's the next level below that. And they would just pull up the van in Santa Rita, and every 30 days or so, or 45 days, I'd haul them out, put them before the grand jury. He wouldn't say shit. They'd take him back, and eventually, they'd let him go. And I guarantee you, Barry Bonds took care of that dude, because that guy was the guy that ultimately, whatever legacy Barry had left, he was the guy that secured it. For whatever reason, is he happy now? I don't know. He can't even get a job in baseball. I think he was sort of a part-time hitting coach for somebody at some point in time. Great hitter, one of the best of all time. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't let your children do steroids. They go from this to that, right there. Jupiter, Algol, big old Necco. All right, that'll do it. I got to go set up the other show. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you all. Mods, thank you for doing your thing. Orlando, well, if we don't see you tomorrow, have yourself a very happy Cup of Scream birthday. And take care of yourselves. Treat each other well. Enjoy the Leo moon. Surf the solar wave like our cosmic lion today. Enjoy life. Affirm life. Affirm one another. Affirm the divine creation at your end. Even though they're trying to make it hellish. A little more every day. Do your best to affirm it. All right. Take care. See you over in 15 if you're joining me. If not, see you back here tomorrow for Friday Forecast.